Heartwarming mistake, when a text to the CEO revealed an incredible baby opportunity in hours. The aroma of fresh pastries filled the bustling bakery, wrapping around Jenna like a warm hug. But today, tension buzzed in the air like 1,000 caffeine-fueled bees. As she layered butter and flour, thoughts of Ethan darted through her mind, the spirited 7-year-old who deserved every chance to thrive. The bakery was her lifeline, her pride. But with a chain store opening just down the street, the stakes had never been higher. Amidst the chaos of orders and the symphony of whirring mixers, Jenna's hand trembled as she reached for her phone. She typed a hasty message to her best friend. If only someone would see the heart in this place. A childcare program could change everything for single parents like me. Ugh, it's just a dream and a moment of distraction. She sent it to the bakery's CEO, the icy Mr. Thompson, a man rarely seen smiling, known more for his sharp critique than any semblance of compassion. Panic surged through her. Her heart raced, pounding in her chest like a jackhammer. She could feel her cheeks ignite with embarrassment, and her stomach twisted in knots. Jenna barely had time to process before the unexpected happened. Mr. Thompson, surprisingly, took a break from his usual hard-nosed demeanor. He read her message, which, by some miracle, struck a chord deep within. What if? He murmured to himself, tapping his pen against the desk. Jenna never thought she'd see the day he entertained a hint of vulnerability. Little did she know, this heartfelt slip sparked a wildfire of change. Word spread quickly through the tight-knit community about Jenna's blunder, and soon the local business owners gathered for a meeting, tension crackling through the air like static electricity. Was a single mother's dream really worth risking their livelihoods? Skeptical glances were exchanged, casual whispers sped through the crowd. Jenna felt their judgment wash over her like a cold wave, yet there she stood, heart racing, mouth dry as she recalled her darkest moments, the sleepless nights, the fear gripping her at every bill's arrival, the deep-seated doubt that loomed large. But Ethan was her anchor, his laughter a reminder of why she fought so hard. She'd never give up on him, or the hope that surged in her chest like a tidal wave. Jenna took a breath, resolving to confront the skepticism. What if this bakery could be a beacon for us, for families? Her voice rang out clear as a bell. Despite her uncertainty, the weight of expectations shifted like a tidal pull, forcing her to confront the harsh realities of their community. Before Jenna could process the murmurs of dissent, Mr. Thompson stepped forward. The tension hung thick, awaiting his words. I've been moved by this message. His voice trembled slightly, surprising them all. Let us explore this childcare initiative. Stunned silence enveloped the room. Could this be the break she needed? Jenna's heart raced, hope flickering like a candle amidst a storm. As the realization set in, she glanced at Ethan watching from the back, his innocent smile fueling her resolve. This wasn't just about her dream anymore, it was about redefining what could be possible for families in their community. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With this unexpected glint of hope in the air, Jenna could hardly breathe. As discussions heated up and ideas began swirling around, the path ahead became clouded with uncertainty. Would her community rally around her vision, or would their fears smother her dream before it had a chance to take flight? Holding her breath, she realized the real battle was just beginning. The meeting room hummed with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Jenna's heart pounded louder as she watched the faces around her shift from skepticism to curiosity. Mr. Thompson had opened the door, but now it was up to her to step through. Let us brainstorm, Mr. Thompson said, breaking the silence. What would a childcare program look like? How could we make this work? He glanced around at the local business owners, seeking their input. Jenna seized the opportunity. We could set up a space in the bakery, maybe during off-peak hours. It could provide a safe environment for kids while parents shop or work. As she spoke, her nerves began to dissipate. The vision took shape: a cozy corner filled with toys, bright colors, and the smell of baked goods wafting through the air. Nearby, a bakery supplier, Karen, raised her hand. "I love the idea. We could even host baking classes for kids. It could be educational and fun." The room began to buzz with ideas. Someone suggested a weekend story time, another chimed in about healthy snack demonstrations. The possibilities were blossoming like spring flowers after a long winter, but even amidst this wave of optimism, doubt crept back in. What if they hit a wall? What if the community found some flaw in their idea? Jenna shook her head, refusing to let fear dampen the spark ignited within her. "Is this about profit?" one of the older business owners asked, his brow furrowed. "Or about helping our families?" His skepticism lingered like a thick fog, threatening to condense their dreams. "It's about helping families," Jenna replied, her voice steady. "I know how hard it is to balance work and being a parent. We can build a community that supports each other, where we lift each other up instead of tearing each other down." Jenna noticed Ethan moving toward her, his small form a beacon of energy. He looked up at her, his wide eyes sparkling with excitement. She could see him imagining the bakery buzzing with children, filled with laughter as parents baked and shared stories over coffee. "I want to help, Mommy," he said, his voice piercing through the serious atmosphere. The room fell silent again, but this time the weight of compassion replaced skepticism. Mr. Thompson looked at Jenna, then at Ethan. "Kids often have the best ideas. Let him be part of this process." He turned to the group, an unexpected warmth softening his usual stern demeanor. "What do you think? We can consult with parents, let them voice what they need." The mood began to shift, the collective energy feeling lighter. Ideas flowed forth, and Jenna's heart swelled with hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could create something beautiful here. As the discussions continued, Jenna's mind raced through the logistics. There would be permits, costs, and staffing considerations to tackle. Yet here she stood, surrounded by people who had once viewed her dream as an unattainable fantasy. "Together, we can do this," she reassured them, her voice full of conviction. "Families deserve a space where they feel valued." Cheers of support echoed around the room as they began to draft a plan. But just as Jenna felt the tide rallying in her favor, she caught sight of one business owner with his arms crossed, shadowing the bright future she envisioned. What happens when they realize a free childcare program pulls customers away from their business? He challenged, the doubt echoing in the room. Jenna inhaled sharply, feeling the familiar weight of uncertainty creeping back in. She had to confront this head-on. "Then we come together, not apart," she replied, her determination rising like the dough she had spent all those late nights preparing. "This is not just about the bakery but about community. If we invest in each other, we all grow. We can make this work." The room fell silent again, each pair of eyes turning to her as if weighing the gravity of her words. Could the community come together, not just to survive, but to thrive? Jenna's heart raced. This was just one step, but perhaps the most important one. Would they join her on this journey toward hope and connection, or would her dream crumble under the weight of skepticism? As she stood there, balancing fear and hope, she realized one thing was clear: the fight for this childcare initiative was only beginning, and the future of her community rested on their shoulders. What choices would they make next? The atmosphere in the meeting room shifted as that skeptical voice hung in the air. The tension was palpable, like a taut string about to snap. Jenna felt her stomach churn. The words, "free childcare program," echoed in her mind, but she couldn't back down now. This dream had begun to sprout roots within her, a passion she could no longer ignore. "Jenna." Mr. Thompson's voice cut through her thoughts. "What about a pilot program? Maybe we could test it out on a small scale first?" She could see the gears turning in his mind, and Jenna couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. "That's a great idea. If we launch a trial period, parents can share feedback, and we can adjust things as we go." Encouraged by the spark of possibility, the entrepreneur in her kicked in. What if we partnered with local schools? We could create a network. Karen, with her eyes lit up, chimed in, and the bakery could sponsor monthly events. That builds goodwill and brings in parents. The room started buzzing again. Jenna almost laughed at how quickly it had changed. 1 minute they had been stuck in the mud of skepticism, and now they were racing toward a future bursting with potential. But then, like rain clouds rolling in, Jenna could feel uncertainty creeping back again. What if we gather all the parents for a community forum? That way they can express what they really want and need, she suggested, her voice strong. A couple of hands shot up around the room, eager to share their thoughts. Suddenly, she was enveloped in a whirlwind of ideas, and the weight of doubt seemed to lift. The community forum could be our first step. Mr. Thompson agreed, his excitement building. Gather feedback, cultivate relationships. But Jenna, his expression grew serious, you'll need to convince the other doubters that this is more than just a temporary fix. She nodded, mirroring their enthusiasm but also feeling the weight of his expectations. Could she really sway the rest to see her vision? As the ideas flowed, Jenna caught sight of Ethan again. He was doodling on a napkin, his little tongue poking out in concentration. She smiled. Seeing her son engaged gave her strength. Hey, Ethan, she called, leaning down to his level. What would you want in a play space? The room fell silent, curiosity piqued. Ethan looked thoughtful for a moment before hopping up in his chair. A slide. And a place for cupcakes. Everybody loves cupcakes. Laughter erupted, and that simple joy rekindled the energy in the meeting. That's it. Jenna exclaimed, her heart swelling. Imagine the parties we could have. A cupcake decorating day, children's baking competitions. The hum of ideas picked up again, weaving through the air. But Jenna knew the doubt wasn't truly vanquished. That one business owner still sat quietly, arms crossed, the embodiment of resistance. Let us say we build something really beautiful together, he finally spoke, each word heavy. But what if it doesn't bring in the business? What is the backup plan if it fails? Jenna felt a flicker of panic but stood tall, drawing in a deep breath. If we fail, we learn. This community is about more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about us coming together. Her voice held firm, even as her heart raced. And we'll figure it out together whatever it takes. The warmth in the room began to amplify. But doubt still lingered in the corners of her mind. Was there enough support to bring this to life? Could she bear the weight of these aspirations alone? Just as she absorbed the buzzing atmosphere, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Pulling it out, she saw a text from her friend Amy. Jenna. You won't believe this, an opportunity just came up that could change everything for your childcare initiative. Can we talk? Her pulse quickened. What had Amy stumbled upon? Excuse me, she said, her heart racing with hope and anxiety. She stepped outside the room, the anticipation brimming within her. What incredible news lay ahead? Jenna stepped out of the meeting room, her heart thumping excitedly as she stared at the screen of her phone, replaying Amy's message in her mind. An opportunity, the words echoed, igniting a flicker of anticipation that coursed through her veins. She pressed her lips together, willing herself to stay calm, even as 1,000 questions rushed forward. What kind of opportunity? Could it be related to funding? Or perhaps an unexpected partnership? Her fingers hesitated before she typed back, I'm free to talk now. What's going on? She paced back and forth in the hallway, trying to suppress the anxious energy that threatened to burst out. A minute later, her phone dinged, and she quickly opened Amy's reply. There's a nonprofit looking to support community initiatives for families. They're eager to hear your proposal on childcare and could provide resources. Jenna's breath hitched. A nonprofit? Resources? Her mind raced to the meeting. If she could harness this opportunity. Amy, can you help set up a meeting? She typed rapidly. This could change everything for us. Yes. They're interested in supporting innovative ideas in the community. I'll send you the details. Just as she hit send, a renewed burst of confidence surged through her. This was the moment she needed to build something truly special. She hurried back into the meeting room, filled with excitement and purpose. The energy shifted again as the group turned to her, curiosity evident on their faces. "I just got off the phone," she proclaimed, a smile breaking through her nerves. "There's a nonprofit that wants to support our childcare initiative." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. The business owner who had been skeptical uncrossed his arms, eyebrows raising in surprise. "Really? How does this work?" he asked, his tone shifting from doubtful to genuinely intrigued. "They're looking to invest in community programs that benefit families," Jenna explained. "If we can establish a strong proposal, we could secure funding and resources to launch our pilot program." Mr. Thompson clapped his hands together, eyes sparkling with excitement. "This could be the game changer we've all been waiting for. Let us get organized. We need to gather our ideas and put together a solid plan." Jenna felt a swell of joy as everyone began to exchange ideas again, the atmosphere more vibrant than ever. The room buzzed with connections and possibilities. Suddenly, her phone pinged once more. It was Amy again. "Don't forget. They need a presentation soon, within a week. Gather your thoughts and let me know how I can support you," the message read. Panic lanced through her momentarily. A week? It was daunting, but this was it. This was her chance to not only fulfill her dream but to uplift the entire community. She turned back to the group. "We need to brainstorm. This nonprofit is looking for creativity, innovation, real solutions to support our kids and parents." Ethan's small voice broke through her thoughts. "Can we have a cupcake party for the presentation?" Laughter rippled through the room again, but this time, Jenna felt a weight lift. Inspiration sparked as she thought about how they could create a fun yet informative presentation that captured the hearts of the nonprofit team. "Absolutely, Ethan. Cupcake parties are just what we need." Her heart raced as ideas flourished: arts and crafts, community gatherings, safe play areas. This was their chance to showcase their potential. As Jenna delved into the excitement of planning, a nagging doubt shifted in her mind. Could they really pull it off in such a tight time frame? What if the nonprofit needed more than just an idea? Jenna shook her head, pushing those thoughts aside and focusing on the vibrant energy in the room. "Okay, let us organize a meeting for tomorrow. We'll put everything on the table and work together." Direction settled into the group as they picked up the momentum, each contribution weaving into a tapestry of hope. Jenna looked around at the faces of her neighbors, wondering, was it possible that everyone felt as strongly as she did? But with each heartbeat echoing her resolve, she couldn't ignore the flutter of apprehension taking root. What if they didn't shine? What if the dreams they were building crumbled in the face of reality? The meeting wrapped up with plans set in motion. Jenna returned home, the night heavy with dreams yet to unfold. As she sat down at the kitchen table, staring at her laptop, the excitement wavered against her fear. Would they create something truly meaningful? As the clock ticked away, so did her confidence. The sheer weight of uncertainty loomed, reminding her how swiftly hope could turn to doubt. But as she glanced at Ethan, who was busy coloring a picture, she felt that warm glow return. Maybe, just maybe, this journey was meant to be. What if the next hurdle they faced revealed doors Jenna never imagined were there? Jenna woke up the next morning feeling a mix of excitement and dread. The looming deadline for the presentation hovered above her like a storm cloud, threatening to unleash her anxieties. She took a deep breath, reminding herself that this was a chance worth fighting for, not just for her, but for the entire community. As she made breakfast for Ethan, her mind raced. She flipped pancakes, recalling the ideas that had sparked in the meeting. Cupcake parties, arts and crafts, and interactive play sessions. These were not just ideas, they were windows into the happiness she dreamed of providing for children and their parents. If only she could transform those thoughts into a killer proposal. "Aunt Jenna, can I add sprinkles to the pancakes?" Ethan's cheerful voice cut through her whirlwind of thoughts. "Of course. Let us make them as colorful as our ideas," she replied, forcing a grin despite the butterflies swirling in her stomach. Breakfast was filled with laughter, and for a moment, Jenna allowed herself to forget about the pressure. But once she cleared the table and sat down with her laptop, reality hit again. She opened a blank document, staring at the empty page that seemed to mock her. Then, her phone pinged with a message from Amy. "Hey. Just checking in. Are you feeling good about the proposal?" Jenna bit her lip, fingers hovering over the keyboard. She responded honestly, "I'm terrified. But I'm trying to gather my thoughts and ideas. Don't forget, I'm here for support, and the nonprofit wants to be wowed. Keep it personal and authentic." "They love that," Amy's message flashed back within seconds, giving Jenna a renewed sense of hope. With a deep breath, Jenna began to type. She envisioned the lives they could impact, the families they could uplift. The words flowed as she drafted ideas on how they could use the funding to create safe, nurturing spaces for children. Each thought resonated with her heart, fueling her passion. As the day unfolded, Jenna set up a meeting with her team at the community center. Bringing everyone together felt like a leap into the unknown, but she forged ahead, knowing they had to capitalize on their collective energy. "Let us kick off our meeting with each of you sharing what you love most about our community," she suggested, excited to spark personal connections. As her colleagues shared touching stories about their own experiences, Jenna felt the weight of the world shift, if only a little. Each story highlighted the need for the initiative they were proposing. It reminded everyone present of the impact childcare could have on families. "I remember when I was single and struggling," one woman said, her voice thick with emotion. "This program isn't just about kids, it's about giving families a chance to breathe and thrive." Jenna's heart swelled. This was their why. They weren't just pitching ideas, they were creating a lifeline for parents, for kids, for the fabric of their community. But as they wrapped up the brainstorming session, the reality of the timeline loomed again. "We really need to finalize our presentation soon," she announced, glancing at the clock. "Ideas are great, but we need to pull them together cohesively." Silence settled over the group as the urgency sank in. What if they didn't meet the high expectations of the nonprofit? What if their dreams fell flat? Jenna's thoughts raced once again, grappling with fear and hope battling for dominance in her heart. Just then, Ethan appeared at the door, his colorful drawings in hand. "Aunt Jenna. I made these for the presentation." His innocent smile filled the room with light, breaking the tension. She gasped, clasping her hands to her chest. He had drawn scenes of happy families, children playing, and the cupcake party they had discussed. "These are amazing, Ethan. Can I help present them?" he asked, his eyes sparkling full of innocence and wonder. The weight of her doubt shifted once more. "Of course you can." Jenna's heart swelled with pride and warmth. Perhaps the true magic lay in the community they were building, one where dreams, dedication, and even a child's art could weave happiness into reality. As the day drew to a close, there was a lingering question in Jenna's mind. Could they truly deliver something that would capture the heart of the nonprofit? That night, with her laptop still open, she stared at the potential of tomorrow. What if there were even more surprises waiting just around the corner? Jenna awoke the next morning to the soft sound of Ethan's footsteps padding down the hallway. The sun filtered through the curtains, casting a warm glow in her small kitchen. Last night's questions about the proposal still lingered in her mind, but the memory of Ethan's smile had soothed her worries somewhat. She pushed a strand of hair behind her ear as she prepared breakfast, her thoughts flickering back to what they had built together during the meeting. Once breakfast was done and Ethan had dashed to grab his backpack, Jenna sat at her laptop with determination. She knew she needed a breakthrough. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard as she thought about how to present their ideas. What if she wrote a personal story about her own childhood, about how much a supportive community had shaped her? That could connect with the nonprofit's mission. With renewed purpose, she started typing. The words came pouring out as she recalled her time spent at the local community center when she was Ethan's age. The joy of art classes and potlucks danced in her memories. But as she got deeper into her draft, her phone vibrated on the table. New text message, it read. Startled, she glanced at the screen. It was a group message from Amy. "So excited for the presentation. Let's crush it, team. Just a reminder, the CEO will be there. Make sure to wow him. A jolt of anxiety shot through Jenna again. The CEO. She'd completely forgotten that the decision-maker would be there to evaluate their proposal. An instant knot formed in her stomach. What if they couldn't impress him? She took a deep breath and tried to refocus, pushing the doubt aside. Ethan returned, his tiny face glowing with excitement. Aunt Jenna. Can I help? She turned and smiled at her nephew. Absolutely. I need your creativity. The two of them bounced ideas off each other while building the presentation together. Jenna was amazed by Ethan's perspective. He suggested fun names for programs and even colored drawings for each section, which made Jenna's heart swell with pride. They spent hours assembling a visual presentation that was bursting with laughter and love. But just as they were finalizing their slides, Jenna's phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from an unknown number. Hey, it's Mark, the CEO. I'm looking forward to the presentation. Jenna's heart raced. Should she respond? What would she even say? She started typing, and before she knew it, her fingers sent a message, excited to share how we can bring joy to our community. Almost immediately, she regretted being so casual. What if it struck him the wrong way? A few moments went by, and her phone lit up again. I love that spirit. Can't wait to see how you bring those ideas to life. She couldn't help but grin. But her moment of triumph was short-lived as Ethan squealed, Look, Aunt Jenna. He held up the art he had created, showcasing a vibrant world where children played and parents chatted at picnic tables. This will show how happy our place can be. She looked at his art and immediately felt a rush of warmth. This was why they were doing this, to create a space exactly like what he had drawn. As night fell, Jenna's mind raced with the possibilities and how everything was finally falling into place. But then another text alert popped up. It was Amy, asking if she could send some ideas over, and then another prompting, what if I accidentally sent a text to the CEO instead? A shiver ran down Jenna's spine. If Amy had accidentally sent something, this could either be a disaster or an opportunity. What if that mistake revealed something truly incredible? Jenna hardly slept that night. Her mind was a whirlwind, spinning with what Amy might have unintentionally shared with Mark. What if it was an embarrassing message? Or worse, a half-baked idea that would make them look unprepared? Morning arrived with the sound of Ethan humming to himself while he prepared his favorite cereal. Jenna forced a smile, but inside, her heart was still racing. She wanted to be confident for Ethan, to foster his excitement about the day's presentation, but her own nerves kept creeping back. Are you okay, Aunt Jenna? Ethan asked, his eyes wide with concern. Yeah, buddy. Just a little tired. But I can't wait for you to show everyone your drawings later. She ruffled his hair, trying to distract herself from the anxiety tightening around her chest. Breakfast ended with a flurry of discussions about the presentation. Jenna focused on keeping the mood light, foreshadowing the thrill they would feel when sharing their ideas. Ethan contributed a few more whimsical names for their programs, and Jenna couldn't help but laugh. Yet, the closer they got to the presentation, the heavier her heart felt. They arrived at the nonprofit's headquarters with an hour to spare. Jenna's phone buzzed with a message. It was from Amy. Panic mode. I sent the text. You were awesome, wait until you see. Jenna's stomach dropped. What did you send? She typed back, her hands shaking slightly. I meant to send you a joke about community centers, but I accidentally sent it to Mark. Jenna sighed in relief mixed with confusion. It could have been far worse. Still, her mind raced. What if Mark saw it? Would he think Amy was unprofessional? Just as she pushed the thoughts aside, Ethan tugged on her sleeve, his innocent face scrutinizing hers. Aunt Jenna, are you sure you're okay? I'm okay, I promise. But as she looked at him, his joyful spirit felt like a reminder of what was at stake. Her work, their work, could make a real difference, and it filled her with a flicker of determination. Moments later, they stood in the conference room, surrounded by her team. There was Amy, apologizing profusely with a nervous laugh. Mark entered next, carrying an air of authority, yet a warm smile hinted at his openness. "Excited to see what you all have come up with," he said, his gaze landing on Ethan. Ethan, full of confidence, waved at Mark as if they were old friends. Jenna watched, amazed, as Ethan embodied exactly what she aimed to create, a space where children could feel supported and valued. "Let us get started," Jenna said, taking a deep breath to steady herself. She glanced at Ethan, who gave her a thumbs up. Together, they dove into the presentation, with Ethan introducing the artwork and Jenna weaving the narrative of their community's need and potential. As they progressed, she couldn't help but notice Mark nodding thoughtfully at their ideas. Each slide flipped revealed the passion and creativity from the two of them. Finally, they reached the slide showcasing Ethan's joyful drawing. "What a beautiful vision," Mark said, his expression illuminating the room. "I'm impressed." Was he actually impressed? Jenna dared to hope, but as soon as they finished, Mark leaned forward, his expression changing slightly. "Before we wrap up, how did you all come up with this? It feels so personal." An overwhelming urge to share the story surged within Jenna. "Well, it partly came from Ethan's creativity, but also from my childhood experiences at community centers just like this one." As she spoke, Jenna caught Mark's eye and saw something more than just approval. Curiosity. The spark in that gaze ignited a flame of confidence within her, but then everything shifted again. Just as she was about to finish her narrative, Jenna's phone buzzed with another unexpected message. "I let a little surprise slip with Mark, I hope it's okay. Let us see what he'll think of it." Jenna's blood ran cold. What else was going on? What was Amy up to now? She needed to know. Jenna's heart raced as she read the message from Amy one more time. The room blurred around her, the faces of her team and even Ethan fading into the background. "What did you say?" she whispered under her breath, anxiety creeping back in as she tried to piece together what disaster could possibly emerge from this surprise. "Is everything okay, Aunt Jenna?" Ethan's voice broke through her fog. She looked down at him, his expression a mixture of confusion and worry, and she forced a smile, trying to mask her fear. "Just a little surprise," she replied, attempting to sound casual. Mark, noticing Jenna's distraction, raised an eyebrow. "Jenna?" His voice was calm, but there was a hint of concern lacing it. "Did something happen?" She felt the weight of everyone's eyes on her, a mix of anticipation and uncertainty hanging in the air. No. I just got a little distracted." Let us move on," she stammered, her voice lacking the confidence she aimed for. One quick look at Ethan reminded her that this was for him, too. "We can definitely show you how we came up with our ideas," she said, clenching her fists to prevent them from trembling. The moment felt pivotal, and she was desperate to stay in control. As they transitioned into the next part of the presentation, Jenna could feel Mark's gaze lingering on her, piquing her nervousness. She couldn't shake the feeling that something profound was about to unfold. What did Amy mean by a surprise? Jenna's mind raced down the hallways of potential outcomes, each more disastrous than the last. The room settled into a rhythm as Ethan spoke with enthusiasm, pointing out the intricacies of his drawings. Jenna remained mostly silent, nodding and beaming with pride, but she was still lost in her thoughts. She was determined to project courage for Ethan's sake. However, as Ethan went on about his inspiration, another message chimed from her phone. She discreetly glanced at it, hoping for clarity, but instead, her stomach dropped further. It was from Amy again. "Tell him it was about the community garden idea and how passionate we all are. Trust me. Trust me." The words echoed in her mind. What had Amy turned this into? Trust was a luxury Jenna couldn't afford right now, not with the stakes so high. There was a pause in Ethan's speech, and Jenna jerked her attention back. She realized that Mark's urgent expression had changed to one of intrigue, waiting patiently. "I think the community garden is a wonderful idea," he said slowly, gauging her reaction. How do you feel about expanding that vision? Jenna's mind spun. Had Amy actually sent Mark something positive? Or was this all a part of some elaborate joke? Ethan grinned brightly, oblivious to his aunt's internal battle. We just feel it could bring a sense of togetherness. Jenna finally found the words, but the sudden serious turn in the conversation made her pulse quicken. Was she responsible for this opportunity, or was it about to blow up in her face? Jenna? Mark's voice pulled her from her spiraling thoughts. I'd love to hear your personal connection to this. She forced herself to breathe deep, feeling the weight of the moment. This was it. This could be the chance they needed. I spent so many afternoons in a garden similar to this one. It taught me about nature, responsibility, and community. Every child deserves that. The warmth of nostalgia wrapped around her, anchoring her amid the rising tide of anxiety. Mark nodded, his expression thoughtful. That's powerful. I can see how that experience shaped your vision today. His gaze was steady, encouraging, almost supportive. Just then, the door opened, and Amy rushed in, her face flushed with excitement. Hey! Sorry I'm late. You believe you texted Mark? Jenna shot back, the corners of her mouth twitching as both fear and exasperation threatened to bubble over. Amy's eyes widened, clearly realizing the weight of her words. Maybe. Jenna looked from her friend to Mark, all their hopes balanced precariously in the air. The moment felt electric, filled with possibilities yet shrouded in uncertainty. What had Amy revealed, and how would it shape their future? Let us hear it, Mark encouraged, leaning forward. I'm all ears. The silence fell heavily upon them, and Jenna felt every eye in the room on her. What had Amy set in motion with that seemingly innocent text? As Jenna stared into the eager faces surrounding her, she realized that she was standing at the edge of a new beginning. What was about to be unveiled could change everything. Sure, let us talk about that surprise, she said slowly, feeling the weight of her own voice. But what she didn't expect was how it could turn the narrative into not just a proposal but a potential transformation. Could this be the break they needed, or would it lead to unforeseen consequences? Jenna took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum. The room seemed to shrink around her, all eyes glued to her, each moment stretching painfully long. She glanced nervously at Amy, her friend's face was a mixture of eagerness and apprehension. This was at the moment that could change everything. Ethan didn't even look up from his drawings, entirely absorbed in showcasing his vision. The community garden can bring people together in ways you wouldn't even imagine. He chimed in, unfazed by the tension buzzing in the air. His innocence was a sharp contrast to Jenna's swirling emotions. Right. Togetherness. Jenna echoed, trying to mirror Ethan's enthusiasm, but layers of doubt layered her words. A place where families can bond, children can learn, where everyone can contribute. Her hands trembled slightly as she gestured towards the display of Ethan's drawings. Each sketch was bright and full of life, yet felt fragile under the looming pressure. Mark leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. And what about the city's involvement? He asked, his tone measured. Do you have a plan to engage them? In that moment, Jenna realized how important this was, not just for her or Ethan, but for their community. It was a chance for change, a chance to make a difference. She couldn't mess it up. Yes. Engaging the city would be key, she replied, the words coming out steadier this time. We can propose a partnership. It would show them how invested we are, how serious we are about this. Partnerships are the key to making dreams work, Amy added, throwing Jenna a supportive nod. But what had Amy said to Mark? What did the CEO know? Jenna's stomach twisted as she thought of the implications. What if Amy had jumped the gun? What if it was too late? Mark tapped a finger thoughtfully against his chin. How about incorporating educational programs as well? Gardening classes, workshops? There's potential for something really impactful here. Yes. Ethan exclaimed, his face lighting up. And we could make it fun. Like a plantathon where we can invite kids to get their hands dirty. Jenna smiled, a glimmer of hope sparking in her chest. This was what she wanted: community, laughter, involvement. They could really do this. Power surged through her, and for a brief moment, she forgot about the text and the uncertainty. Mark nodded, his enthusiasm growing as well. I love it. It promotes healthy living, education, and community engagement all in one. That's what it's all about. Jenna exclaimed, feeling her confidence solidify. Bringing everyone together while also nurturing their roots literally and metaphorically. The room buzzed with possibilities. Jenna could see Ethan's eyes shine with hope. She felt hope pooling in her belly, pushing away the tension of her earlier uncertainty. Okay, let us brainstorm some actionable steps, Mark suggested, and Jenna focused back on the meeting. They began discussing logistics, timelines, and outreach plans. Each voice around the table became a thread weaving a hopeful tapestry for their vision. As they laid out the foundation of possibilities, the tension began to dissipate. But with every ounce of excitement, Jenna was still haunted by the message lurking in her phone. She could hear it chiming softly, a reminder that there was more beneath the surface. After the meeting wrapped up, Jenna found the courage to pull Amy aside. Did you tell Mark anything else? She pressed, her voice low and urgent. Amy shrugged, her expression a mix of mischief and sheepishness. Just some of our ideas and how passionate you are about it. But what if he wants more than just ideas? What if he expects actual support? The worry gnawed at Jenna, punctuated by her fears of not living up to expectations. Amy waved her hand dismissively. Come on. We've got this. Just focus on the plan we made. The idea is strong enough to sell itself. Easy for you to say, Jenna whispered, feeling a twinge of irritation. Suddenly, the energy shifted again. Mark walked towards them, his expression as serious as a thundercloud. Hey, Jenna, Amy. Can we talk for a second? Jenna's heart sank as a wave of dread washed over her. She exchanged glances with Amy, and they both knew whatever Mark was about to say could either solidify their dreams or crush them altogether. Sure, Jenna replied, dread lacing her words. As they turned to face him, Jenna felt her heart hammering again, but this time it was the question lingering in her mind that felt most pressing. What was Amy's surprise? And would it lead to their greatest opportunity or their biggest mistake? The moment stretched out before her, heavy with uncertainty as they faced the unknown. The room buzzed with palpable energy as Jenna stood before the crowd gathered in the bakery. Neighbors, parents, and the community she longed to uplift. After weeks of brainstorming, meetings, and sleepless nights, today was the day. They were about to unveil the childcare initiative and community garden program that had ignited so much hope. Ethan bounced impatiently at her side, his small hands clutching a paper with his drawings. His wide eyes sparkled with excitement and expectation. Jenna glanced around, taking in the faces of everyone who had believed in her vision and stood by her side. She drew strength from their support. Thank you all for coming today. Jenna's voice rang out, filled with a mixture of nerves and determined enthusiasm. Every one of you plays a part in this dream coming to life. As she shared their proposal, detailing how the childcare program would provide a nurturing environment for children while allowing parents to work or shop, she noticed nods of encouragement and smiles of support. Ethan chimed in to share his excitement about planting flowers and vegetables in the community garden, painting picture-perfect stories in the minds of those listening. Then, just as Jenna felt the tide of anticipation swell, a figure emerged from the back. It was Mr. Thompson, his presence commanding immediate silence. Clad in his typical crisp suit, he surveyed the crowd, his furrowed brow deep in thought. Jenna's heart dropped. Fear clutched at her gut. Was he there to criticize? To take this moment away from them? Excuse me, Mr. Thompson said, his voice steady. Could I share my thoughts? Jenna held her breath, sweat blooming on her palms. She fought to earn approval from this man, the one who had initially viewed her dream with doubt. Of course, she managed, trying to veil her anxiety. He stepped forward, then paused, scanning the sea of hopeful faces. After some reflection, he continued, I've come to appreciate what Jenna has created through her passion for this community. This is not just business, this is about families. This initiative could redefine how we support each other." Jenna's heart soared as the murmurs of support rippled through the room. Mr. Thompson's acknowledgement shifted the atmosphere, hope filled the air. He went on, detailing how he could open channels with local businesses to secure sponsorship, providing funding options for their programs. "Let us bring this vision into reality together," he concluded, his voice softer than usual. "Let us show this town what a supportive community can do." The room erupted in applause. Tears glistened in Jenna's eyes. She turned and met Ethan's gaze, his innocent excitement mirrored in her heart. In that moment, she felt the past struggles lift away, the fears that had clung to her like a shadow transformed into light. Amidst the applause, Jenna gleaned true understanding. This community wasn't just about her and Ethan, it was about everyone rallying together to build a stronger future. Total strangers were now advocates, eager to cultivate an environment filled with love, laughter, and support. As people began to connect, sharing ideas, offering to volunteer, and even brainstorming special events to fundraise, Jenna knew their vision was blossoming. They would hold workshops, celebrate together, and most importantly, stand together through the tides of uncertainty. After the meeting, Jenna hugged Ethan tightly. "We did it, buddy," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "Can we plant cupcakes in the garden?" he asked innocently, eyes shining. "Of course, my little dreamer," she replied, laughter bubbling up. As they stepped outside the bakery, the community felt alive, transformed by hope and resilience. The sun peeked out from behind the clouds, casting a golden hue across the streets. In that moment, Jenna understood that this was just the beginning. Together they would create something beautiful. With a final glance at the crowd now buzzing with resolve, Jenna felt a flutter of gratitude and excitement swell within her heart. This wasn't just a fleeting success. This was the start of their journey. They would build a legacy, a community filled with dreams, love, and above all, support. Life had a way of surprising her, and as she knelt beside Ethan to sketch more of their vision, she knew she'd cherish every moment. Today was a glorious day filled with endless possibilities. Now, if you want to join Jenna's journey and see more stories like this unfold, you need to subscribe now to the channel. Leave a like to feed the algorithm and help us spread this positivity. And don't wait not even one more second to comment your thoughts and feelings about this heartwarming ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this transformation. True fans understand the importance of supporting our community through these actions.